I want you all to indulge me for a minute, and I want you to and I know it's going to be a little. But close your eyes for me for a second, and I want you to picture your Thomas Wynn, your best friend in high school. Come on, it won't hurt you. Close your eyes, all right, and just get that visual in your mind. Get that visual in your mind. All right, now go ahead and open your eyes up. Here's the question that I have for you guys. What is the single thing in this world most likely to kill that person? To take that person away from you? Does anybody know? Anybody got any guesses? Yeah. Drunk driving. Real close. Actually, the number one cause of death for everybody in your age group is a car crash. A car crash is the single thing most likely to take your life. Okay? Now, I want you to think about these numbers, all right? The number is 66,000, all right? 66,000 is the number of individuals that we lost in this country in a 10-year span to car crashes that were in your age group. Think about that for a minute. What's the population of Manteca? 65,000. What's the population of Lodi? 60,000. Think about that. That is like taking an entire city the size of either Manteca or Lodi, full of kids your age, and blowing it off the map. Okay? This is the size and the extent of the problem that you guys are dealing with. And this is what you've got to understand. All right? This is the educational part. This is the information that you need to be able to be successful. So, let me ask you this question. Raise your hand. If you're in the audience, raise your hand. And if you're on cable channel, in your room, raise your hand. If you have a friend, a loved one, or anybody you know that's been killed by a drunk driver. Raise your hand. All right? Look around the room right now. Okay? Now, put your hands down. Let me ask you this question. Raise your hand if you know a friend, a loved one, or anybody else who's been killed by any other kind of murder. Raise your hand. Now look around the room. Interesting. More than half, greater than 50% of all the homicides committed in this country involve people driving drunk. More than half. You add all other murders up together, and it doesn't equal the number of people that are killed every year by people driving under the influence. That is the scope of the problem that we're dealing with, okay? And that's why it's so important that we're here, and that's why it's so important that you guys have this information. Now, I was a juvenile court judge for 3 years, and I'm a parent of someone in your age group. So between those two experiences, I can tell you that as much as we adults would love to control your decisions, to keep you all safe, to keep you all healthy, we just have to come to the recognition that we're not going to be able to control them, okay? Because let's face it, when you guys are up against this stuff, when you're out there and your peers are out there, and this stuff is out there and available to you, we're not going to be there. And you're going to have to make the call, okay? The best that we're going to be able to do is to give you good, accurate information so that you can make a good call. And then we've got to trust the brains that God gave you to make that call. All right? And that's what we're about here today. We're giving you information to trust you to be able to make that decision. So, on the screen you see that over 60% of those accidents that kill people involved alcohol, and then another 20% involve drugs. So totally, it's 80% involve alcohol or drugs. What do you need to understand about this stuff? All right, let's start with alcohol. The first thing that you need to understand about alcohol is a poison. The first thing your body does when you try to consume alcohol is to try to get rid of it. It tries to wipe it out of your system, to get it out. What it does is it breaks it down into a substance. First substance is called acetaldehyde, all right? Anybody ever heard of formaldehyde? Yeah, formaldehyde is the embalming fluid that Tommy was talking about, okay? That's toxic to your body. Your body can't take that. And if that acetaldehyde stays in your system for any period of time, you wind up getting really, 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 really sick. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time about this, but this is about giving you information. There's a fast and a slow gene that converts the acetaldehyde out into something else that lets your system be able to handle it. If you have the fast gene, you're relatively efficient at converting acetaldehyde. If you have the slow gene, you're not as efficient. You're going to wind up getting sick, and your alcohol is going to have a lot more negative effects on you. If you happen to be of Asian descent, people of Asian descent predominantly have the slow form of the gene. You need to know that going in. You need to know that going in. Alcohol is much more likely to be a negative experience for you, and it's much more likely to cause deteriorative effects. Ladies, all right, you have to understand this basic formula. Alcohol is twice as bad for you as your male counterparts in every single way and form of the word. Why? Generally, you have less body weight, okay? So, same amount of a substance into a smaller container equals a higher percentage. Pretty simple math, right? In addition to that, inside your stomach, you have about half of the acids that break alcohol down. So your body is actually twice as bad at breaking alcohol down. So that alcohol is going to stay in your system twice as long, and it's going to have twice the negative effects on you that it is on anybody else. Research tells us, ladies, that women are more susceptible to being impaired by alcohol. They're more susceptible to having brain damage as a result of alcohol. They're more susceptible to all mental disorders that come along with that, including depression, including all depression, anxiety, in terms of dealing with stress. And ladies, one thing I know from reading the research is you guys tend to go to alcohol and drugs as an escape mechanism for other things that are bad going on in your life. And I'm here to tell you, it's not going to help you escape from anything. It's not going to help you as an escape tool for anything. So you have to understand how much more at risk you are when you're making those decisions that need to be made.